The galaxy was vast. It stretched far beyond the eyes of any one creature. Thousands of stars, planets, and civilizations filled the galactic map, a living record kept by the Council of Worlds. Ships traveled trade routes between systems. Diplomats met in grand halls, and explorers pushed the boundaries of known space every day. But there was one place the galactic map never showed: human space. It was a blank patch, like a dark spot on a bright map. No trade routes crossed it. No alliances reached inside it. No travelers came back with stories from its borders. Everyone who looked at the galactic map knew the truth, even if they never said it aloud. Human space was off limits. And no one asked why. Kale was young, but he was a promising explorer from the star system Arhen. His dark eyes flicked over the ancient star charts that hung in the Great Hall of the Galactic Observatory. Hundreds of maps, glowing with stars and lines connecting planets, surrounded him. Yet one space remained stubbornly empty, where the humans lived. The Council had said only this: human space is forbidden, no one must enter. But Kale's curiosity burned. How could an entire star system be erased from the map? He had heard stories whispered in the corridors, strange signals, warnings from the past, a secret so powerful it was better left alone. Kale's closest friend, Lyra, noticed his distracted gaze. "You're staring at the human space again," she said softly, stepping beside him. "Why bother? We know nothing but silence from there." Kyle shook his head. "That silence is what makes me wonder. What are they hiding? Why does everyone fear even mentioning it?" Lyra frowned. "Because some things are dangerous, Kale. Curiosity can get you killed." Kale smiled. "Or it can make you the first to discover the truth." Far away, on the edge of the Forbidden Zone, a small human ship drifted through space. The Endurance was one of the few vessels that still dared travel near the boundary. Its captain, Mira, stood on the bridge, looking at the stars through the wide glass. Mira had grown up hearing stories about the time before the quarantine, the great war that had shattered the galaxy's peace centuries ago. Humans had disappeared, after that war, wiped from records as if they never existed. But they had survived, hidden in their own corner of space. Now the humans were rebuilding. Their ships were fast, their technology clever, but they kept their distance. Nobody outside knew what lay beyond their borders. A soft beep broke Mira's thoughts. The communications panel flickered to life. An unknown signal was approaching, a message encrypted with a code she hadn't seen before. "Captain, incoming. Transmission. Unknown origin," the communications officer said. Mira's brow furrowed. "Patch it through." The message was brief, urgent. A voice, old and distorted by time, said only, "Don't let them find out what lies beyond." Before Mira could respond, the signal cut off. Back at the Galactic Observatory, Kale could not ignore the feeling that something was about to change. He decided to follow the signal, despite warnings from his superiors. He gathered his things, quietly, preparing for a journey that might take him to the forbidden edge. Lyra confronted him before he left. "Kyle, this isn't just a silly adventure. The Council won't forgive this. You could be exiled, or worse." Kyle looked at her with steady eyes. "Maybe, but I have to know the truth. If we don't understand what human space hides, how can we protect the galaxy?" Lyra sighed, then nodded. "Be careful. Promise me you'll come back." Kyle smiled and clasped her hand. "I will." Kyle's ship, the Starseeker, slipped through the dark void toward the boundary of human space. As he crossed the final marked star system, the stars seemed to shimmer oddly. It was as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Then, the galactic map ended. There were no stars, no planets, no names, just silence. Suddenly, Kyle's ship computer beeped. A message appeared on the screen. "Warning. Unauthorized entry into quarantined zone." Kyle's heart pounded. He had heard stories about quarantine zones before, places sealed off after disasters or wars. But human space was different. It wasn't quarantined because of disease or danger that everyone knew. It was a secret. He took a deep breath and sent a signal to the nearby human outpost, a small station orbiting a lone star. Seconds later, a reply came. "This is human space. State your purpose," Kale typed carefully. "Explorer Kale of Urhen, seeking knowledge, willing to cooperate." The response was slow but clear. "Wait for instructions. Do not attempt to move beyond the outpost." Kale nodded to himself. This was only the beginning. On the human outpost, Commander Jessa studied the incoming message. She was an older woman, steady and wise. She had spent her life guarding the border, watching for outsiders. "Prepare the landing bay," she ordered. "We have a visitor." Mira, the young captain of the Endurance, was called to meet Kale in person. She felt a strange mix of excitement and caution. When Kale arrived, he was nothing like the spies or troublemakers the humans expected. He was curious, respectful, eager. "I want to understand why human space is off limits," Kale said quietly. "There must be a reason." Mira looked at him carefully. "There is, but it's not a story we share easily." That night, Mira showed Kyle the stars beyond the outpost's windows. "Human space is not just a place," she said. "It's a promise. A promise that we will keep a secret that could destroy the galaxy if it were known." Kale listened, heart pounding. Long ago, our ancestors faced something no one else did. Something so dangerous that it threatened to consume entire star systems. "The Galactic Council erased us from their maps to keep others safe," Kale whispered. "So humans became the galaxy's guardians?" Mira nodded. "In a way. We live here, hidden, holding the line. And we hope one day the galaxy will understand why." Kale looked out at the stars. The edge of known space was no longer the end of the map. It was the beginning of a mystery that would change everything. As the Endurance and the Starseeker sat side by side in the quiet station, two new allies formed, not just for exploration, but to challenge the silence, because some secrets, no matter how carefully kept, were meant to be found. Kale sat in the quiet room of the human outpost, his eyes fixed on the glowing screen before him. The message from the Galactic Observatory was clear. He had crossed a boundary no one dared approach. Yet here he was, welcomed, cautiously, by humans who had been erased from history. Mira entered the room, holding a small ancient device. It was unlike any technology Kyle had seen before, simple but powerful. "This is a recorder," Mira explained. "It holds stories from our ancestors, things they wanted to remember even if the galaxy forgot us." Kyle leaned forward, curiosity growing. "Why did the galaxy forget you? What really happened?" Mira looked away for a moment, then met his eyes again. "It's a long story, but I'll tell you what I can. Long ago, before the current peace among the stars, a great war tore the galaxy apart. Empires clashed, and with them came terrible weapons, capable of destroying whole planets. Among the many players, humans stood apart. Their homeworld, Earth, was destroyed in the final battle, but humanity did not vanish. They fled to the stars, scattering to hidden systems and rebuilding from the ashes. But humans had a secret. They possessed knowledge of an ancient power, older than any known civilization. This power could protect or destroy, depending on who held it. The Galactic Council, fearing the chaos it could bring, erased human space from the maps. They declared it forbidden, a quarantine zone, and warned others to stay away. Kale's mind raced. So humans were punished for their power, hidden away? Mira shook her head. Not punished, protected. We protect the galaxy by keeping this secret safe. If it were known, others would come to claim it, and chaos would return. Kyle nodded slowly. It made sense, but also raised new questions. Why had no one challenged this secret before? How had humans survived without allies? The days passed quickly at the outpost. Kyle and Mira spoke often, sharing knowledge and stories. Kyle learned about human resilience, their strength in rebuilding and adapting. He saw that humans were not isolated by weakness, but by choice. One evening, as they watched the stars, Kale asked, "What is this ancient power you guard?" Mira smiled faintly. "It is knowledge of a force in the universe that can change reality itself. Our ancestors found it long ago and decided it was too dangerous to share." Kale's eyes widened. "Can you use it?" Mira hesitated. "Only with great caution. It requires discipline and trust. We train every generation to understand its responsibility." Kyle was impressed. He had expected humans to be isolated and weak. Instead, they were guardians of a secret power that could shape the fate of the galaxy. Meanwhile, far beyond the quarantine line, whispers spread among other civilizations. Rumors of a human visitor breaking the rules, of strange signals and secret meetings. The Council of Worlds was uneasy. Some members wanted to punish the humans. Others feared what might happen if the secret was revealed. Yet, none dared to cross the line themselves. Fear and respect held them back. Back at the outpost, Kale received a message from Lyra. "We don't know what you're getting into," she warned. "The Council will act soon." Kale replied quickly, "I'm learning the truth. Humanity is stronger than we imagined. I believe they want peace, not war." Lyra's answer was short. "Be careful. Don't let your curiosity become your downfall." Kale put down the communicator and looked at Mira. "The galaxy fears what it doesn't understand, but maybe together we can change that." Mira nodded. "There is one more thing you must see." She led Kale to a hidden chamber deep within the outpost. Inside, walls were covered with glowing symbols and ancient writings. Records of human history lost to the galaxy. "This is our heritage," Mira said softly. "Our past, our battles, and our hopes." Kale studied the symbols, feeling a connection to a story much larger than himself. Suddenly, the outpost alarm rang out. Red lights flashed. "Unknown ships approaching," a voice announced. Mira's face hardened. "The Council sent patrols. They want to stop this meeting." Kyle stood beside her. "We must show them the truth." As the ships closed in, the humans prepared to defend their home, not with weapons, but with courage and unity. The arriving patrol ships hovered just outside the outpost's shield. A voice came over the comm channel. "Human outpost, you are ordered to cease all contact with outsiders and prepare to be quarantined further." Mira replied calmly, "We have done nothing wrong. We protect a secret that belongs to all the galaxy. Let us prove it." For hours, tense negotiations took place. Kyle spoke on behalf of both sides, explaining humanity's role and the danger of hiding such knowledge. Slowly, some patrol commanders lowered their weapons. The Council could no longer ignore the truth. By dawn, a fragile agreement was reached. The quarantine remained, but contact was allowed under strict rules. Kale looked at Mira, hope shining in his eyes. "This is just the beginning." Mira smiled. "Yes, humanity will no longer be a secret." As the sun rose over human space, Kale and Mira stood together, ready to face whatever came next. The galaxy was bigger than anyone had imagined, and the map would soon grow. The silence beyond human space was unlike anything Kale had ever known. It was deeper than the vast emptiness between stars, quiet as if the universe itself was holding a secret. The galactic map ended abruptly, like a book torn before its final chapters. After the fragile agreement with the Council, Kale felt a new responsibility. He was no longer just an explorer from Rehen. He was a bridge between two worlds, a key to a mystery that stretched beyond understanding. Mira led Kale to a small ship that was unlike any other. It was called the Gatekeeper, a vessel designed for one purpose: to cross the forbidden border and explore the secrets hidden beyond. The Gatekeeper moved carefully into the darkness past the quarantine line. Its engines hummed softly as it slipped through empty space away from the stars that once marked civilization. Kale stared out the window, watching the stars fade behind them. Before long, there was nothing but darkness. until a strange glow appeared ahead. "What is that?" Kale asked. Mira's eyes reflected the light. "It's the Forbidden Gate." The Forbidden Gate was an ancient structure that neither humans nor aliens had fully understood. It was enormous, made of shining metal and glowing with soft energy. It floated silently in space, its purpose lost in time. Mira explained. "Our ancestors built this gate long ago. It was meant to protect the galaxy from what lies beyond." Kyle felt a shiver run through him. "What lies beyond?" Mira hesitated, then said, "A power so great and dangerous that it was locked away. The gate seals it, holding it in a prison of energy." The gate pulsed softly, as if alive. The gatekeeper approached slowly, its instruments scanning for danger. Suddenly a voice echoed in the ship's communicator. It was old, mechanical, and strangely calm. "Unauthorized vessel detected. State your purpose," Mira responded with steady voice. "We seek passage. We come in peace and wish to understand the legacy of the gate." There was a pause, then the gate's energy shifted. Slowly, a pathway opened, a glowing corridor stretching into the unknown. Kyle and Mira exchanged a look. This was the moment of truth. The gatekeeper entered the corridor and the stars outside disappeared. Inside, the ship was bathed in soft light. Strange symbols and shapes appeared on the walls, moving as if alive. "This is beyond anything I imagined," Kale whispered. Mira nodded. "Our ancestors left this for us, to learn, to guard, and to decide." After traveling through the corridor, the ship emerged into a place unlike any other. It was a vast chamber floating in space, filled with structures made of light and energy. The air itself seemed charged with power. Kale stepped out onto the observation deck, overwhelmed by the beauty and mystery. "This must be the heart of the ancient civilization," he said. Mira's voice was filled with reverence. "This is where the secret was hidden." As they explored, Kale and Mira discovered records etched into the glowing walls. They told the story of a civilization older than the Council itself, a race called the Eldari. The Eldari had created the Forbidden Gate to protect the galaxy from a threat known only as the Void. The Void was a force that consumed everything. It touched, erasing stars and life alike. The Eldari had used their knowledge to trap the Void beyond the gate, but the power required was immense. Kale felt a chill. "So humanity's ancestors helped build this?" Mira nodded. "Yes. We are the last link in a chain of guardians." Kale looked at the glowing symbols, realizing the weight of the responsibility they carried. Suddenly, the ship's alarm sounded softly. Sensors detected a disturbance, a ripple in the energy surrounding the chamber. Mira frowned. "The Void is waking." Kyle's heart raced. If the Void escaped, it would destroy everything. "We need to warn the galaxy," Kyle said urgently. Mira shook her head. "Not yet. If we reveal this now, panic will spread. We must understand the threat fully and find a way to strengthen the gate." The two worked together, studying the ancient technology and learning how the Eldari had maintained the seal for centuries. Kyle marveled at the complexity. "This is far beyond anything in the Galactic Council." Mira smiled. "That's why they erased us. They feared what we protected." As they worked, Kale felt a growing bond with humanity. They were not the isolated outcasts the galaxy thought. They were the silent defenders of all life. Mira showed him how humans had developed new technology inspired by Eldari designs. It was slow, careful progress, hidden from the wider galaxy. "We must be ready," Mira said. "The Void will not wait forever." Back at the outpost, news of the disturbance spread quietly. The Council debated what to do, torn between fear and hope. Kyle sent messages to the Council, urging cooperation and understanding. "We can no longer ignore human space," he wrote. "We must unite if we are to survive what comes." The Void's ripple grew stronger. Strange cosmic storms appeared at the edges of the quarantine, causing unease among nearby systems. Mira and Kale prepared for what might come next. They knew the galaxy's future depended on their success. Before returning, Kale looked once more at the glowing chamber. The Forbidden Gate was not just a prison, it was a symbol of trust between past and present. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "You've come far. The galaxy is changing because of you." Kyle smiled. "And this is only the beginning." As the gatekeeper turned back toward human space, the stars slowly reappeared. The galactic map would soon grow, but the path ahead was uncertain. The void waited in the dark, but humanity and their new allies were ready to face it. Because some secrets, when uncovered, could save the galaxy. The news of the disturbance near the Forbidden Gate spread quietly but quickly within human space. The cosmic storms, strange and unpredictable, unsettled the calm that had settled for centuries. Mira and Kyle had barely returned from their journey when they felt the weight of new challenges pressing in from all sides. At the human outpost, the atmosphere was tense. Scientists and engineers worked day and night, analyzing data from the stormy edges of the quarantine zone. Their goal was clear: understand the threat of the void and strengthen the gate that held it back. But beyond the outpost, unseen forces stirred. In the shadows of galactic politics, old factions saw opportunity. Some were terrified of what the void's return meant. Others, hungry for power, hoped to use the situation to reshape the galaxy's balance. The Galactic Council convened an emergency meeting. Voices rose in heated debate. "We must reinforce the quarantine," one council member insisted. "The humans have kept this secret too long. We cannot trust them." Another replied, "We cannot afford to ignore the humans. They guard what none of us can. We must work with them." Kale's messages to the council had opened a door, but fear still blocked the way. Meanwhile, in the human outpost conference room, Mira stood before a group of human leaders. Her calm voice carried the weight of their shared responsibility. "The void is awakening," she said. "Our ancestors' work is failing. We must unite not only among ourselves but with others beyond our space." A murmur rippled through the room. "But the council wants to tighten restrictions," one leader said. "They fear the consequences if the truth spreads." Mira nodded. "Their fear is understandable. But hiding from the galaxy will not protect us. We must build trust." Kyle watched the unfolding events with concern. His own home system was divided over whether to support his alliance with the humans. His old friend Lyra sent a message. "Kyle, they call you a traitor. They say you risk everything for a forgotten race." Kyle replied, "I risk everything for the galaxy's future. The humans are not enemies. They are guardians." Lyra's answer was silent for a moment, then came back. "Be careful. Shadows are rising." The shadows Kale and Mira faced were more than political. Within human space itself, factions disagreed. Some believed the quarantine must remain absolute. They feared that revealing their secret could unleash chaos. Others wanted to reach out, to join the galaxy openly, sharing knowledge and strength. At the outpost, these disagreements created tension. Mira met with Commander Jessa privately. "The Council's pressure will only grow. We must be ready," Jessa said. Mira replied, "We need a plan that protects our secret but allows cooperation." Outside the outpost, Kale and Mira prepared for a difficult journey. They planned to visit neighboring star systems just beyond the quarantine, seeking allies willing to listen. Before they left, Kale trained with human scholars, learning about the ancient Eldari technology and how it could help defend against the void. He felt stronger, more connected than ever before. As they traveled through the outer systems, Kale and Mira encountered suspicion and curiosity. Most aliens had never met a human. Some had only heard rumors. In one system, they met with diplomats who listened carefully but hesitated. "The void is a danger we cannot ignore," said one elder. "But how can we trust those hidden away for so long?" Mira answered, "Trust is built by actions. We offer partnership, not secrets." Slowly, a small coalition began to form. Aliens and humans alike recognized the threat and the need to stand together, but not everyone was pleased. Back on the Galactic Council, a faction moved to block any cooperation. They whispered of sabotage and hidden agendas. Meanwhile, the cosmic storms grew closer to human space, threatening to break the quarantine's fragile peace. At the outpost, alarms rang softly. Mira and Kale stood together, watching the swirling energy of the storms on the monitors. "We are running out of time," Mira said. Kale nodded. "But now we are not alone." Together, they sent a message to the galaxy. "The void is real. It is waking. We must unite to protect all life." It was a call to arms, but not a call to war. A call to unity, to courage, and to hope. As shadows rose across the stars, humanity's secret was no longer theirs alone. It was a burden and a promise shared by all. The galaxy held its breath. After the message from Kale and Mira, a call to unite against the void, the silence that followed was heavy with uncertainty. The Galactic Council gathered again, this time with more urgency than ever before. Delegates from countless star systems filled the grand chamber, their faces marked by worry and determination. The void was no longer a distant threat hidden behind a quarantine line. It was real. It was waking. Kyle stood quietly in the observers' gallery, his heart pounding. This meeting could decide the future of the entire galaxy. The council leader, a tall figure with silver hair named Arlen, raised his voice to bring order. "Today we face a choice," Arlen said. "Do we continue the old ways, hide behind quarantines, distrust, and fear? Or do we embrace a new path of unity and knowledge?" Murmurs filled the room. One delegate, representing a powerful trading system, spoke first. "We must keep our distance from human space. They have kept their secrets for centuries. How can we trust them now?" Another delegate from a peaceful scientific coalition disagreed. "The humans have protected us from a great danger. They seek cooperation. We must listen." Mira and Kale shared a look. Their journey had brought them here, to the moment where the past met the future. Kale stood and stepped forward, his voice steady. "The void is not a threat we can face alone. The humans did not hide because they wished to dominate, but because they knew the risk. Now we ask for trust and partnership." The chamber grew silent. Arlen nodded slowly. "This is not an easy decision, but the signs are clear. We cannot ignore the warnings." Outside the chamber, across the galaxy, ships prepared. Some carried supplies and scientists ready to assist. Others held diplomats and envoys eager to build new friendships. At the human outpost, Mira prepared her team for the changes ahead. "This is a new beginning," she said. "Our secret is no longer a burden. It is a responsibility shared." But not all were ready to accept change. A small group within the council, fearful and stubborn, plotted to keep the quarantine in place and silence any voices calling for unity. Kale received a secret message. "Beware those who fear change. They will try to stop you." He showed it to Mira. "We must be careful, the old fears run deep." Mira nodded. "But we have allies now. The galaxy is waking. As days passed, new alliances formed. Trade routes reopened near human space, and scientists shared their knowledge. The Eldari technology began to inspire new discoveries across many worlds. Kale worked closely with diplomats and engineers, bridging gaps and building trust. Lyra sent a message from Arahen. "We are proud of you, Kale. You are changing history." Kale smiled. "We are all part of it." Then, one evening, the alarm at the outpost rang sharply. Sensors detected a powerful energy spike near the Forbidden Gate. Mira and Kale rushed to the control room. "The void is stirring," Mira said. "We must act now." They sent urgent messages to the Council and their new allies. Together, they planned a way to strengthen the gate's seal using combined technology and knowledge. The effort was a race against time. Ships from different systems gathered near the gate, forming a protective ring. Scientists and engineers worked side by side, their skills complementing each other. Kale marveled at the cooperation. "This is what the galaxy can be," he said. "United, strong, As the work continued, the energy from the void grew unstable. The storms flared with new power. Mira and Kale stood together on the observation deck. "We face the unknown," Mira said quietly. Kyle nodded. "But we face it together." Slowly, the combined technology activated. The gate pulsed with renewed strength, glowing brighter than ever before. The void's energy began to calm. After hours of tension, the sensors showed stability. The gate held. Cheers and relief echoed through the ships. Back in the council chamber, Arlen addressed the galaxy. "Today, we chose hope over fear, unity over isolation. Let this be the start of a new era." Kale and Mira looked out at the stars, knowing their journey was far from over. The void was still out there, but so was the light of cooperation and friendship. Together, they would protect the galaxy's future.